but they hit you with the mister.
Well, and I actually, in my mind, for whatever reason, I thought it was MR period car wash.
You did see.
So now that it's spelled out,
Yes.
I'm kind of getting your point.
To rule the world, that they're I'm sure it's all good that Peter Thiel and Palantir are building out the surveillance state that's going to rule the world, that they're having a secret society meeting with all the most important powerful people in government, finance, tech, media, etc. Not telling you about it. I'm sure it's all good.
Well, good evening. I should say it's 10:27. I fell asleep early when it was raining really hard.
Evidence out there, less than 1% is true. That would be enough to collapse the current paradigm and change the whole
I
planet.
have 4 thingies. That's why. Well, I'm trying to get
Peter
the
Thiel's
tracks.
secret society just got exposed
do what they're
online.
supposed to do.
A hacker discovered that their members list was just in the code on their website and has leaked it all on the internet. 222 names. Wired has done an expose and corroborated over 100 of those names. And there's a whole discussion to be had because the names that mark Peter Thiel's secret society, they're not just tech executives. They're not just hot gay men that Peter Thiel wants to get in with. They include Treasury secretaries, members of the intelligence community, senior members of the military, members of government, senators, lots of venture capitalists, bankers from around the world, entertainers, movie stars. It's kind of like Bilderberg 2026. This secret society has existed for 20 years, but hardly any reporting, hardly any information exists about them. They always put their phones in Faraday cages. They fly around the world. They even apparently have diplomatic delegations to Pakistan, of all places. This story will be enough to get you wondering exactly who does control the world and how much do we not know about this dialogue society that's operating right underneath all of our noses. Today is Thursday, June 18th. The story is breaking as of yesterday, and hopefully we'll get more information coming soon. But for now, we're going to dive all into it, into everything we know, into Peter Thiel and his whole gay thing he has going on over there in Silicon Valley. Welcome to Canceling and Carol. Let's get into it. So, for most people, the story starts with Wired publishing this expose 2 days ago on June 16th. Leak exposes members of Peter Thiel's secretive dialogue society. Technically, the actual story starts with the leaker, Maya Arsen Krimiu, posting this post on June 15th of this year, just a couple days ago, on Blue Sky. This post includes a raw list of 113 names that we'll go over a little bit. Wired picked it up, did a whole bunch more investigating, and got a whole bunch more information on these names. These names read a lot like a Jeffrey Epstein flight log. They read a lot like a Bilderberg meeting. They read a lot like a conspiracy.
Someone was asking about why. What do you mean they put their devices in a Faraday cage? I mean, whether it's on or off, doesn't the Faraday cage just give other towers, so to speak, clearer access? Here, hold on. We can't get into certain features. If you put it into this Faraday cage, it'll protect you from civilians, but give professionals... Forget it. I don't really understand.
Theorists would expect. Lawrence Summers is down there. Obviously, Peter Thiel is there. But obviously, Siobhan Zillis, Elon Musk's baby mama, is on there. We'll get into all of these names a little bit more later. But first, some of the interesting things out of this article. So this group, this secret society, is called the Dialogue Society. It's a private, invitation-only organization co-founded in 2006. 2006, that is 20 years ago, by the billionaire tech investor Peter Thiel. It convenes U.S. officials, foreign government figures, and Silicon Valley executives at off-the-record annual retreats. Dialogue has spent 2 decades declining to disclose its members. 2 decades. Think about everything that Peter Thiel has been up to in the last 2 decades. Also, remember that his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, that we still don't know the full extent of, but we know that he lied about it multiple times to try to cover it up. We know that there was a financial relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. That falls squarely in the middle of these 20 years. And we know from the Epstein files, we'll go over this in a second, that Jeffrey Epstein did receive an invite to this event in, I believe, 2014. It might have been 2016. We'll check in just a minute. There's no evidence that he attended, but the overlap of people like Reid Hoffman, and there's some pretty strong overlap of attendees between these two things. So they got this
It's only
hacker,
fair.
didn't have to do a whole lot of hacking apparently, because a directory in the website's code was revealed by the Swiss activist Maya Arsen-Krimiu. She's known for exposing the U.S. government's no-fly list and breaching the surveillance camera company Verkada, so she is, bona fide. Krimiu tells Wired that the directory surfaced via an anonymous tip, and then Wired independently verified its contents. Another source separately provided Wired with the registrations list for their 2026 retreat, which names 222 people. So Krimiu's list is shorter, and that's published in its entirety. We don't really have context on who on that list is a member versus just a one-time attendee. It's all very vague, and obviously it's a secret society. But Wired got their hands on the complete 222-person list for this year's event. Then they're being bitches, and they're not actually publishing the whole thing because of journalistic integrity and all this shit. But they do name some pretty spicy names in this reporting. The retreat is scheduled for August 12th to 16th at a venue near Dublin, Ireland. A lot of press and a lot of people are paying attention to these really weird fucking session names that they have at this event. These are a bunch of gay-ass billionaires. I mean that literally and figuratively. A bunch of tech executive freakazoids. And so this is like the plebs have TPUSA indoctrination camp. The billionaires have Peter Thiel cult camp, where they have sessions like, quote, money does buy happiness, bring back nuclear, navigating World War III, battlefield technologies, and how's your sex life? Do you want Peter Thiel in it? Like up in the back of it. Other talks include Build a Cult, moderated by the founder of the Christian networking site Pray.com, and Build a Party, run by a former White House national security official. That's great. We have a Peter Thiel run secret society with sessions about building cults and building political parties. What could go wrong?
Take the wheel of a new 2026 Sportage Hybrid and set out on your next adventure from Charlie's Kia. Enjoy impressive range and a standard 12.3-inch curved touchscreen display with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Click now to view our inventory.
Together, alongside the Monday Fair Mutual Thought Leadership Conference, the documents show an extraordinary convergence of power. The registration records list General Alexis Grinkovich, NATO's Supreme Allied Commander, Europe. Peter Thiel's gay ass from the tech world in Silicon Valley founded a secret society 20 years ago that I'm sure was rinky-dink back then. It is now grown so that in 2026, the Supreme Allied Commander, Europe, is attending Peter Thiel's secret society. But that's not all. He's been attending the society since 2021. Must be having a good time. The website directory names sitting Trump administration officials, 2 U.S. senators, 6 members of the PayPal mafia, a former Middle East chief of intelligence, and a sitting ambassador to the United States, along with the founders and directors of many of the country's largest surveillance, data brokerage, and advertising data companies. And a lot more people too. We'll go over it. Those executives appear side by side with senior U.S. officials who oversee their industry. But Wired points out, and I guess the journalistic reason why Wired isn't just publishing all the names that they got, all 222 of them. They're all private citizens.
That it's actually going to.
They're not implicitly guilty in anything from attending this event, except being a fucking piece of shit.
Hit my conscious
But
field like it's
they
funny.
are publishing names of sort of conflicts of interest that are attending this event. So executives of tech companies that are attending the same event, and on the same list there are regulators or government officials
you
that
can
are
pay
supposed
somebody
to be
to
contra
give
to
me a
those
shocked
tech
look.
executives, or
Come on, you're
military
auditioning.
and
Give
contractors
me
that
happy.
sort of have a conflict of interest by cavorting in
Excited.
secret with Chatham
Scared.
households with no phones and no media, no
Shocked.
press. So
Horrified.
those various pairings and conflicts that they do publish here is a bunch of
Completely
executives appearing side by side with senior U.S.
terrified.
officials that oversee their
Fearing.
industries. Orrin Hoffman, Dialogue's chairman, founded the location data broker SafeGraph. He appears in the directory alongside Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who's
kind
gay.
of fear, though,
That's
like
going to be a
fearing
theme here,
that my,
in case you, it's going to be a joke. And
Day's
it's gonna
gonna be
also,
gloomy.
Senator Ted Cruz, who's gay, chairman of the Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee, which
Fearing
oversees
that
the
the
Federal
end of
Trade
the
Commission,
world is
is
gonna
Data
come.
Privacy Authority. Palantir
I mean, the
co-founder
fear
Joe
might
Lonsdale,
look a
who
little
was in the
different.
news
You
recently
gotta give
for
me a
being gay.
scenario.
I'm kidding. For doxing a 19-year-old and being a strong Jew.
So that would be
See
more
our reason to
worry.
about that. Obviously, he's a co-founder of Palantir. Not
How do you know
surprised
the
that he's attending a
difference?
Peter Thiel
Worry,
event.
fear.
He's listed in the same society as Army Secretary Dan Driscoll and Representative Jim Himes, the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, which oversees agencies Palantir contracts with. So, Palantir's there, and all the military compatriots of them. are there.
Can't buy me
None
love.
of the individuals named in this
You
story
can't buy
responded to requests for
happiness.
comment. Rafi Grinberg, who lists himself as Dialogue's executive director on his LinkedIn profile and is the author of the self-help book How to Be a Grown-Up, did not respond to a request for comment. So the registration record appears to not only show who belongs
Sir,
to
they're
Dialogue, but who
dying.
attends. Of the 222 people
We're doing
that are
everything
signed up
we
for the
can to save
2026
them.
retreat, according to the leaked records,
Everything
87
we
are
can
marked
to
as
save them.
first-time attendees.
We're using all the means we
Others list
have.
history stretching back more than
All
a
the
decade and a
knowledge,
handful to the
medical
society's founding 20 years
accessibility.
ago. So, based on what the Wired article says, I'm
We're
piecing
working
together
with what
that
we got.
Wired seems to have been leaked a complete online, like a complete
If they die,
internal
they
document
die.
of the sign-ups.
You can
for
pay
this
us all
event.
the fucking
So
money
it's
you
not just a
want.
list of
We're
names,
doing
it's the
everything
actual
we
sign-up
can
forms that these
to
people all
prevent the
filled out.
abuse.
And those
We're
sign-up
doing
forms
everything we
appear
can.
to
You can
include
pay
not
all
just
the
their
fucking
name
money in the
and,
world.
you know,
I
where
don't
they're
want
from and what
anyone
their
else
occupation is, like what,
to drink
why
and
they're
drive
important.
ever.
But it also
Drinking and
includes, like, a
driving
bunch of
kills people
questionnaires of, like,
every
how
fucking
you
day.
see
Do you
the
know
world
that?
going and what's your opinion on this and that, and they get into some of
You
those
can
answers
pay all the
here
money
that
in the
would seem-
world.
that are kind of fluff for the article.
Okay.
Some of them seem kind of interesting,
We'll
kind of
do what we
silly, kind
can.
of spooky. So what ties the roster together more than any
Someone
other
gets pulled
is
over for
shared
drinking and
preoccupation with
driving.
artificial intelligence, longevity,
You want your money
and the near
back.
future.
I'm sorry,
Seems like a
but
nice
that's
journalistic
not how
way of
this
saying,
works.
transient.
I know, they're
A bunch of
still out
freakazoid
there drinking and driving.
psychos.
We made laws.
Asked on the
We
sign-up
throw
form
them
to
in
approve
jail.
the
We
future,
take their
registrants
licenses.
return
They get
again and again
mad
to the same fee.
as though
AI will
the
reorder
police
work
are harassing them, and we should be going to
Several
get. I mean, and they
forms
should be
of
going to
mass
get
labor
murderers
displacement
and
a swing
stuff.
back towards unions and government programs.
I don't
Others
know what
predict
else
AI
to
winter,
do.
domestic terrorism targeting data centers, terrorism, criminal defendants using AI lawyers
Why?
over public defenders, or religious revival provoked by the disruption.
I know.
apparently
I mean, you
list
can pay us
talents
all the
on
money
their
you want.
forms, and some of them seem
We're
to
doing
have
everything
had fun
we
with
can.
that field, like funhouse construction, and
make
others
you happy.
seem to have been a little more serious on those fields, like backcountry skiing, urban exploration,
What will
meditative
make
and
you
psychedelic
happy?
inquiry into the nature of reality, compassion, and existential dread someone brings to the conference. They apparently also give book recommendations.
Yeah, but see, that's not going to make
these
them happy. They
applications. If you haven't figured it out by
depend. They
now,
depend
these
on you
elites are
being an
very
idiot
eccentric,
and
quirky.
breaking the
They
law.
like to
Not
sprinkle in
them.
lots of fun hobbies and side quests.
Not
and
them, you would
funny
think
dialogue
so,
boxes
huh?
in their applications.
They try to make it look
Maybe
that
they'll
way
get
and blame it
sense
on the
side.
middle guy,
This
or
form
the
also
ones
got
on the
sensitive
ends,
answers,
or the
including
ones
each
that
registrant's
are
political leaning, which dialogue
at the
process will not be
podium,
shared in
or
the
wearing
with
the
other
uniform,
participants ever.
or the
Wired
lab
has
coat, or...
regrettably decided not to
Oh, look at
include
that.
those
You have a
answers.
nice
I would be
microphone.
curious for those private answers of these various people that they're naming that are publicly presenting one form of political leaning. I'd be curious if their private answers match that, but we don't know because Wired is not releasing that. The league registration list also names senior figures absent from the public directory of 113. Randy Krosner, a former governor of the Federal Reserve, who now serves on the Bank of England's Financial Policy Committee, the mega bankers that rule the
I'm
world.
not in
I wonder
monitor
what
mode
ethnicity
if you
Randy
can't tell.
Krosner identifies
Moderator.
as. Some quick early life check. Brave AI says yes, Randy Krosner is Jewish. Former governor of the Federal Reserve. Who would have guessed?
Do you
Haley
think-
Hoffman, a former general counsel and acting chief of staff of the Drug Enforcement Administration. Jonathan Greenblatt, the
That
chief
monasteries
executive of
were
ADL,
originally for
Peter
people with
Gobler,
mono.
president of the Cato Institute, a very powerful
And they had
think
to
tank.
watch 'em,
Think tanks
so
are going
it's
to be a
a
real
stare.
theme here. We might even do a
Just
side
watch 'em.
quest to remind
an
ourselves
eye on
about
'em.
the sort of think tank, secret society connection, think tank to government connection.
It makes total
Bilderberg
sense
Group
in a
comes
lot
to
of
mind,
ways,
but
actually.
also other ones like the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, obviously the World Economic Forum. It sounds like the Dialogue Society has been an underground and very powerful one of these sort of secret society think tank groups that's been kind of operating in the modern era and probably gaining a lot of power, and from the looks of it is probably far more significant than some of these other ones at this point, but it's kind of hard to tell. Ryan Stowers, the executive director of the Charles Koch Foundation. If you know, you know.
Like an
And Roger
estate.
Myerson, Nobel laureate economist at the University of
estate.
Chicago.
What
It
does
also
it
lists a
mean,
cluster of
like, to
Google
call
and
it
Google
an
DeepMind executives,
estate?
among them Tom
What does it
Wu,
take to be
Global
considered
Affairs for the company's
an
Frontier AI division,
estate?
and one working journalist.
This is an
Suad
estate.
Meknet, a national security correspondent for the Washington Post. She is listed as running an event called Ulysses Book Club. So journalists, I'm under the impression, are super not allowed at this event. This Washington Post journalist must
It
be
means
very in the
state or
club to be
condition.
trusted at this event, I would presume. The rest of the
Oh,
membership
so
spans hedge
it's saying
fund and
this
private
is a-
equity billionaires, current and former foreign officials,
good
network
estate.
television actors,
This is a
best-selling authors,
horrific
and
estate
religious
of
leaders.
affairs.
I believe Jake Gyllenhaal is mentioned somewhere
I
in
see
here,
what you
among
mean.
others. One of several internal documents Dialogue left exposed on the same online database that held its registration records is a guide for event moderators, urging them to remind participants that everything is off the record, Chatham House rules. and that
Societal
comments should
classes.
be concise and non-obvious.
Feudal medieval era. By the Middle Ages, the term represented distinct social classes or political orders with specific powers. The best known example is the French Estates General divided into the 3 estates of the French Revolution. You gotta stop them. Number 1, the clergy, first state. Number 2, the nobility, second state. Number 3, the commoners would be the third estate. So you have the clergy, the nobility, and the commoners. Land and property has a social standing required, land and wealth. The meaning shifted to designate a large, privately owned expanse of a property or land maintained by great wealth. So this is the homestead, and the estate is over there. Right. Legal and financial meaning. Modern legal and financial contexts use it to define everything a person owns, real and personal property, especially regarding the estate, etymology, origin, and meaning they leave behind upon death. What are the conditions? What's your opinion? Who are the overseers?
Not very common. A separate dialogue page at app.
You're not required? Yeah, I didn't think so. I know you're not required to tell me that information. I know you're not required to. That's okay. Don't worry. If you don't want to tell me that, just lets me know you're a douchebag. I already know. You're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Hi, did you just get here? Probably not. Just trying to hold on to that fucking slime. Hold on. Get it in your grip. Oh man. Fucking bad, huh? Piece that we've got so far. It's horrible.
The statistician Andrew Gelman published one of Dialogue's invitation to his blog in 2022. We'll look at that in a second. And it describes his format and a registration fee of more than $16,000, which is awfully cheap.
I really hope so. I really hope so.
2014 retreat drew renewed attention this year when an invitation forwarded to the financier Jeffrey Epstein surfaced in the U.S. Department of Justice of the Epstein files. Wired had to do a bit of retraction because they mistook Jeff Epstein on a list of past participants with that Jeffrey Epstein. That is a CFO at Oracle with a very unfortunate name. So just to clarify this little piece for anyone interested in the story, there is an invitation in the Epstein files that's sent to the Jeffrey Epstein. We'll look at that, but that was conflated with an actual record named Jeff Epstein, but it's a different Jeff Epstein. So the Epstein was invited, but we don't know if he ever attended. The Oracle CFO, Jeff Epstein, apparently has attended in the past. Just to clarify. Here is the Epstein Files version of this invitation that was sent to Jeffrey Epstein 2012, 16 months before the event. In the invitation to try to, sweeten the deal, this is just the first page of it, but they have a whole list of attendees to the 2014 event to try to, butter people up, get them to come. And we can actually look at that whole PDF here. We'll briefly scroll it and see if we see any interesting names. So this is actually the EFTA file on the justice.gov website in its original format. A couple of redactions, a couple of founders' names are redacted. For some reason, first name of Mr. Athey, professor of economics at Harvard University, is redacted. Stephen Cohen, co-founder of Palantir. Adam D'Angelo, CEO of Quora and a former CTO of Facebook. He also did a little stint on the board of OpenAI in their little transition period when everything went to shit. Here's Jeff Epstein, former CFO of Oracle. Richard Haas, the president of the Council of Foreign Relations. Speaking of think tanks and secret societies, if you know, you know. Reid Hoffman, because Reid Hoffman has to go to every single sketchy gathering on the goddamn planet. I can't believe this man still has a job. It's probably because he's never said anything offensive about a Jew. If you don't know, that's a reference to our most recent expose on the 19-year-old that decided to cancel his life because he said something offensive to a Jew. Gary Kasparov, former world chess champion. Henry Kravis, co-CEO of KKR. Very powerful, very, very powerful. If you know, you know. Laura and Gary Lauder, general partners of Lauder Partners from the Lauder family. Think Ronald Lauder of the Estee Lauder Company. Kevin Warsh, the son-in-law of Ronald Lauder, who is now the chair of the Federal Reserve. Joe Lonsdale, the co-founder of Palantir.
Yeah, so someone was
retired four-star
asking
generals in here.
how much money has been paid
CEO,
out
Social and Capital, former VP Growth.
to the Epstein so-called victims. Oh, when you know, you know. It's just sick. These people are fucking sick, dude. So taxpayer money has not been used to pay out to the Epstein victims. It's all been funded by private sources. Yeah, specifically Epstein's estate and major financial institutions. Right, so all that money, yeah, I guess.
Behind the squads, you can believe that.
Right, and then you think of all those people that had been
Everyone that's smart.
going there
Like somebody
for
was
auditions.
murders.
It's a place to be, yeah.
They actually went in.
When you actually
I
know
mean, like somebody
what's been going
was a
on,
security guard or somebody was
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's pretty sick.
a security guy.
Why were those young women being brought to the island by sometimes their own mothers?
Suspects, but
Why? Were they up-and-comers for something? Right, I mean, when you connect, too, some of the scouters to different shows of the past, I mean, you can't deny it. I mean, you can, and they do, and they get away with it every day. What are you going to do? Right, that's why we try to get through to people. I mean, you can try to catch people in lies and go, oh, we caught them cheating, oh, caught them lying, yep, look, they lied to you. Yeah, no shit. Right, so we're trying to help the hostages and children that are being fucked and tortured by punks, and they're stationed all over the fucking country, halfway across the world. We're in Augusta, Maine, at the Governor Hill Mansion. Okay, I have 4 children here. My youngest 2 are in the hands of sick, murderous fucking pedophiles and punks that help the hags and the youngsters get the bullies and the Karens and the non-vaxxers and do cartel investigations. It's fucking sick and demented what people have been doing, and they fucking know it.
Their own brands were really good ones.
So anyways, yeah, so the victims have been paid quite a lot of money by private sources in Epstein's estate and financial institutions.
talk to the security guy. Sure.
Hmm.
I'll keep this view in case they walk.
Right, so the real victims aren't even really on the island. I mean, the victims of the island are dead, really. So, yeah, you don't come back from those kind of vacations. That's the whole purpose of them having you go on vacation. You want to have an experience, a cocktail party. They got good hors d'oeuvres. They have good hors d'oeuvres. I think they have chimpanzees. Not anymore. They used to. Yeah, they had to get rid of them too. You know, when people start to say stuff, oh, we got to get rid of the chimpanzees. Now we got saber swords. Hold on. Who needs a fucking chimpanzees when you got one of these? Well, I mean, it can make for better entertainment, I guess, depending on what kind of movie you want to see. Oh, it gets real bad. It gets real bad.
The sewer.
The sewer, there you go.
Yeah, so just fucking pathetic to a lot of us over the years. And then when they're ignoring all those things and pushing out vaccines and mandates and vaccinating our children behind our back and protecting fucking sluts and punks. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Moving them around the country. Getting rid of the fucking problems and truth speakers. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know how many innocent people and doctors and investigators have been killed? These fucking nasty drug traffickers and sluts and people committing fraud in our community. It's bad enough what they're doing trying to cover up that shit, let alone the fucking punks and child fuckers they're protecting that are feeding out child and animal abuse to investigative teams,
One officer was struck by
youngsters, getting them involved with investigations as though it's part of an early training program. Yeah, talk about early education. These people are fucked, and what they've been doing to kids in the public systems, completely ignoring this shit. It's fucking sick what they did. You know, so many of us just were horrified when we go back to when they try to act all concerned like good human beings, and we really want the kids to be in school and be able to socialize and just be normal. But we can't do that until we shoot them all up with this poison. We haven't really looked into it, and experts around the world are very concerned that it's killing people and causing blood clots and myocarditis. But we need to get all these young children who already have fucked up immune systems from the other vaccines, and some of them are heavily medicated because they have emotions and can be hyper, so we got to keep them from expressing themselves. But don't you dare tell them they're not a boy if they want to be a boy, and don't you dare tell Johnny he can't be a girl. In fact, get him his hormones and cut off his dick if he wants to. You respect his rights. Don't you dare let these adults tell them what to do. Yeah, fucking sick motherfucking pieces of shit. Proper authorities here in Augusta, Maine need to help these kids. My name's Mary. We're at the Governor Hill Mansion in Augusta, Maine. Sick fuck's name is Michael Scott Garand. He was born 6/22/1984. And they tried to kill me and beat up a little boy in the tub back in 2012. Bad enough. There's so much more. We're concerned about our youngest two children that have already been abused by them for years while you fucking pricks play your games around here and other places. Do you understand? Florida, Texas, California, New York, Colorado. Fuck you, motherfuckers. I hope the proper authorities fucking put you motherfuckers in your place. They already have, a lot of you. They've been arrested.
Oh, I see Jupiter. Is that it right there?
What?
Jupiter.
Yeah, well, you know.
Some of them. You can't arrest them all, though. Like Trump's son said, you can't arrest them all, but you can shame them. Right. I mean, in their world, that's what they do, right? That's what makes them feel good, taking cheap shots at each other, making a fucking headline. Yeah, in this world, when we shame them, they just fuck our kids harder. They get an extra special treatment. Do you understand that, rich folks? In your little fucking entitled world in Faraday cages? Do you fucking understand that? Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Suggestions as to how we can get the folks around here to pull their heads out of their asses and report the facts? We'll keep asking as long as their fucking heads are driven up there, licking each other's fucking assholes and cutting each other's throats while these punks fuck our kids. And you want to play your fucking games? And put innocent people in danger still, after all these years, you and your fucking lies and meddling with state workers and drug traffickers, trying to target innocent people as though they're dangerous, you sick fucking nasty, astute, entitled little fucking sluts. Nasty fucking slugs and pieces of shit. Alcoholic, pill popping, nasty fucking people.
4 to 5 people were outside threatening to kill the brother.
You know, just like your morning coffee, you know, gotta get that out. Gotta get that out. And now we will do a joyful dance, some stretches. I think we want to be a ballerina today. You want to be a ballerina today? Be ballerinas. All around the mulberry bush, the monkeys chase the weasels. Papa Goose the weasel.
Good social time. Walking and talking.
Absolutely.
Fuzzy bone will get you a good spot. Oh. We won't tell you what we're hearing, but definitely elevates the.
Did you hear the squad movement?
Air camera.
Facebook. He shows up in all kinds of documentation like this. Robert Rubin, co-chairman, Council on Foreign Relations, former U.S. Secretary of the Treasury. Yeah, this is very tied into all of the think tanks. This is the deep state, just through and through. The corporate, the tech, the military, the governmental. They're all here. And then there's other randos. There's so many I'm skipping over, but just random things like this guy right here, Angelo Sotira, the CEO of DeviantArt, which is like an art sharing platform online for artists. Kind of weird. Obviously, Peter Thiel. Michael Wolff, CEO of Activate, former president and COO of MTV Networks, former partner of McKinsey, and former senior partner of Booz Allen and Hamilton. Quite the resume there. And just for funsies, to cap it off, Karl Theodor Gutenberg, former Minister of Defense of Germany, former Minister of Economics and Technology in Germany, and then a bunch of trash. So that was the invitation sent to Jeffrey Epstein all the way back in 2012 for the 2014 event. Obviously, we don't know for sure that all those people did attend. Those are just who they were listed as attendees for that event to try to sweep the news. It's possible Jeffrey Epstein did attend.
Such a good one for today.
Probably see what it looked. Just for fun, while we're listing names, let's get into this original leaked list of names that Maya Arson Krimiu published on Blue Sky. This is what sort of spurred Wired's expose on it. I don't know how Wired got their expose out after just one day, if they work at light speed, or if they were working with Maya Krimiu in the background and then they published sort of simultaneously, or what? Not really clear on that. There's not a lot of details coming out. Maybe we're more information something soon. But Maya did publish her list of 113 names in raw form. Wired was more close to the chest with theirs, and they only published names that they sort of thought were significant for their own reasons. But I'll just scroll this list and point out a couple that stand out to me. Peter Attia, recent scandals with Peter Attia. If you know, you know. Scott Vesage is here. Cory Booker, senator from New Jersey. Scooter Braun, CEO of Hive America, founder of Mythical Holdings. Recently in the news for the Justin Bieber scandals that happened. Manuel Braunstein, chief product officer of Roblox. I was going to go master. Julian Castro, the former secretary of U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Ted Cruz, senator from Texas. Adam D'Angelo, we already mentioned. Dan Driscoll, secretary of the U.S. Army. Tim Ferriss, the author of The 4-Hour Workweek. Fuck you, Tim. Sellout. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the actor. Sam Harris, the podcast host. No wonder no one believes a fucking word he says. Sam Harris is in the club. Reid Hoffman, we already mentioned. Ezra Klein, opinion columnist for the New York Times, founder and former editor-in-chief of Vox, go figure. Henry Kravis, we already mentioned. Oh, Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner is in this club. They're all in this club. So you can assume that Zionism is probably quite well represented here. You can assume that Silicon Valley gay tech mafia is obviously very well represented here, being founded by Peter Thiel. We're seeing government quite well represented here. The most corrupt of the bunch. We're seeing, not necessarily secret societies, but think tanks extremely well represented here. Another one, Leonard Leo, former executive vice president of the Federalist Society. Joe Lonsdale, Lisa Monaco, former deputy attorney general in the U.S. Department of Justice. Elon Musk, founder and CEO of SpaceX, co-founder and CEO of Tesla Motors. Elon Musk, attending Dialogue Society 2026. I mean, he never did apparently get to visit the island, so he's got to go have some fun.
Probably safest
We got Steve
to be
Pinker,
outside.
we got Robert Rubin, we got Eric Schmidt, former CEO of Google and Alphabet. We've got Larry Summers, former president of Harvard University, former secretary of U.S. Treasury, extremely good friend of Jeffrey Epstein, though he tried to cover it up. And then I just thought it was interesting that Siobhan Zillis, the director of Neuralink, and Elon Musk's baby mama is also attending. I thought that this list included Tulsi Gabbard. Did I just miss Tulsi Gabbard on this one? No? Tulsi Gabbard comes up in other places. We'll find Tulsi Gabbard. So, that is the original
pretty
list on Blue Sky and the list published by Maya Krimiu. But then I wanted to know, is there anything else out there on the internet about this dialogue society? Went digging, dug up a number of articles, maybe a handful, maybe 4 or 5, from across the years that add a little bit of context here. Just a little bit of context. We mentioned earlier how this math guy published his invitation to his own blog a couple years ago in 2022, and his invitation, similar to the one sent to Jeffrey Epstein, includes a partial list of dialogue participants for that year, and I just grabbed a couple of standout names, including Tulsi Gabbard, who we all know and have mixed feelings about, and I just also thought I would note that Johnny Moore shows up on here, founder and CEO of the Kairos Company. If you're up and in this whole Charlie Kirk investigation, you know some stuff about Johnny Moore. He's attending the Dialogue Society too, which I thought was interesting. Then there's this really weird article, saga thing going on here, where Dialogue Society is apparently not just doing secret society standard shit where they meet in secret and talk about dominating the world and don't tell you what they're gonna do. But they actually apparently go out and do dominating the world type shit, like sending a delegation of super important people to Pakistan to talk about Pakistan's economic reforms and investment potential, of all places. One has to imagine that they probably send delegations to more significant countries than Pakistan. Maybe I'm just not informed on how significant Pakistan is these days. This is from 2025.
Be careful, there's a lot of drug dealers down here.
Pakistani
Yeah, watch
delegation,
out for 'em.
I'm not familiar with the business report.
They don't play.
Briefly,
They
there's
don't
a little
play.
bit more in the article. It's not super long, but this snapshot is what stood out. So, Finance Minister Muhammad Aurangzeb on Tuesday hosted a high-level delegation for dialogue, a global leadership platform founded by Peter Thiel. Led by Ambassador Ali, the delegation included prominent international figures in government, technology, and business sectors such as Simon Stevens, member of the UK House of Lords, Viet Valentin Dengler, member of Parliament, Austria, and founder of Draw.Solutions, Yasmin Green, CEO Jigsaw and Google, Fatima Kardar, VP of Xbox, Microsoft, Shadi Martini, CEO of Multi-Faith Alliance, Evan Marwell, CEO Education Superhighway, and Himanshu Gulati, member of Parliament of Norway, amongst others, read a statement. So Peter Thiel's Secret Society is getting together a group that includes VPs of Xbox, with members of Parliament of Norway, with members of the UK House of Lords, and members of the Austrian Parliament, and sending them to Pakistan to talk about investments and growth opportunities with the Pakistani government. That's super weird, and I think there's probably a lot of subtext, what is not stated, what we don't know about other delegations that would be pretty interesting to know. Then there's this Axios piece that was published, I believe, last year in 2025, that exposed some stuff about Dialogue apparently purchasing a campus in Washington, D.C. Because what does a secret society that wants to control the world need more than access to these insiders directly than their own little secret campus in the heart of Denver? They're preparing a major expansion, including a real estate purchase to build a campus in the D.C. suburbs. And just familiar with those plans tells Axios why it matters. Dialogue, often compared to a tech-era Bilderberg, has quietly become one of the most elite and mysterious gatherings for CEOs, elected officials, and intellectual heavyweights. They were actively in discussions to buy a physical venue in Virginia, just outside Washington, to serve as a permanent hub for its off-the-record meetings, Reuters said. I am not entirely clear on whether this purchase ever actually went through. I'll look into it more. But just to wrap this up and explain the gay jokes that were made here. If you don't know about this Wired piece about the gay tech mafia that was published at the beginning of 2026, it's quite the it has quite power art going on. It's kind of a big gossip column. It's a lot of anonymous sources, a lot of people speaking only under pseudonyms, a lot of hearsay, but it all adds up and it's all pretty obvious, and a lot of it's publicly available information. But when you put it all together, it starts to paint a sort of concerning picture. It's a little awkward to talk about because it's like, is it a horrible thing that there's gay people running companies? No, it's not. But there is an undercurrent to it. Does it get more and more sketchy when you kind of have a gay mafia-style sort of relationship economy happening in one of the most important industries in the world? And are they monopolizing this industry based on their gayness or based on their merit? How much grooming is happening in this environment in Silicon Valley? How much darker, weirder shit? How much trafficking? How much prostitution? How much other stuff is happening? Because, when you look at the names on these...
On how to get up on a wizard list. Senseless, you sense I'm the sensei, apprentices. I'm the salt up in the cut. Who you trying to play but us? Like a DJ turning stuff. Who you trying to fool? We all know that shit's unplugged,
There's this funny kind of touchy taboo barrier in the conversation about gay people where it's like, yeah, gay rights, I agree. I mean, I come from the left. I have no animosity towards gay people at all. But having grown up in that sort of very liberal and kind of naive perspective, and then lived in this world and sort of learned more about how power structures work and how sex trafficking works and how very powerful billionaires work, not like your average gay person, but your billionaires, you start to notice more and more that there's a lot of greed in the gay world. You start to wonder wonder, like, I don't know, I mean, this is going to be a really hateful comment. There's going to be a lot of bigotry going on here in a second. But, like, I don't know if we're exactly clear on how many gay people are born gay. Like, are there really gay babies? Or is it kind of weird, the huge number of gay people that do have some sexual trauma in their past, that have grooming in the backstory of their gay awakening? How many of these gay people would have been gay if they'd never had that one gay relationship when they were a young teenager that awoke them to their gayness? I don't know the truth one way or another, but I do know there's this really interesting quote down in here. I believe that this is attributed to another one of their anonymous sources, because they're all anonymous sources in this article, but they point out something kind of important and controversial when you really read into it. Quote, one of the key things to realize is that gays are different than straights in many different ways, says a longtime gay venture capitalist. Gays are cross-generational. Whilst straight people tend to spend more time with people their own age, that is not true with gay men. I can hang out with someone at an event who is 18 years old, and Peter Thiel might also be there. And that's a nice way of saying there's a lot of grooming in the gay community. There's a lot of older gay men grooming younger boys into the lifestyle. He put the age 18, but bro, that is specifically the legal limit. Specifically, I can't help but wonder if it's always 18 and up at all of these parties, at all of these quiet little gatherings. The article does describe how in Silicon Valley, there's a gay party for everything. There's an exclusively gay network. You're only invited to the parties if you're gay. There's no women present. You can read it for yourself. I don't want to go through all the details. It's mostly just hearsay, but it all checks out. And it all centers pretty much around Peter Thiel and his homies, his boys. But others are mentioned, obviously, like Sam Altman is mentioned. A bunch of them are mentioned. And when you couple that with the Dialogue Society, it kind of gets you wondering. And listen, just to clarify one more time, I'm sure I'll get a lot of hate for this, for those comments about gay people. I don't hate gay people. The difficult conversation to have sometimes is that it's not, strictly speaking, natural. It's not the evolutionary path that humans are intended to take, because y'all don't make babies, okay? Let's just be clear. Y'all don't make babies. And so if we all are gay, the human race ends, right? And so, personally, I've just always had a bit of a problem with people that live these sort of like deeply alternative lifestyles. It's way more obvious with trans people that advocate for more of that. All good that you're gay, bro. Don't care. That's cool. You're just a person. Be a good person. You're good with me. But like, it's kind of weird when we start advocating for more gay people. It's kind of weird when we start advocating. It's super weird. It's actually fucking criminal, in my opinion, when we start advocating for more trans people. Because by your own admission, trans is a very hard lifestyle. It's very hard on you. There's a reason why trans people have the highest suicide rate. You can argue about why that is, but it's not an easy life, right? And I'm not saying this to hate on trans people specifically, although I find the militant ones to be abhorrent. But it's oxymoronic to be that way and to have and this is obviously, I'm talking about trans people, not gay people, but it's a little oxymoronic, a little hypocritical to talk about how it's so hard to be trans that I need to cut off my genitals to fix my life, and then to, in the same event, breath, speech, whatever you're doing, to say, let's have more trans people. It's good to be trans. Doesn't square. It's not good to be trans. If you are trans, get on with your life, be a good person, do your best, try to be happy, and just chill. Just chill, bro. Just chill. Just fit in and do your best and be a good person. But don't advocate for kids to become trans, you goddamn asshole. That's evil. And I can't help but feel a little bit of that in the gay community as well. And in this kind of gay tech mafia grooming cult thing. Of like, you're much more likely to get into Silicon Valley if you're gay. You're much more likely to get into these secret societies if you have sexual proclivities that go along with it. And I think probably, just my outside view, some of those cultures and societies group up around gayness. Some of them group up around pedophilia and what Epstein was into. Some of them group up around other blackmailable traits. And some of them just group up around being piece of shits that are power hungry. Dialogue Society seems to have a little bit of all of it. Can't really tell what it is. All we have is these few leaks, these lists of names, and some pretty sketchy subtext kind of written in. But for now, I'm sure it's all good that Peter Thiel and Palantir are building out the surveillance state that's going to rule the world, that they're having a secret society meeting with all the most important, powerful people in government, finance, tech, media, etc. Not telling you about it. I'm sure it's all good that Joe Lonsdale, frequent flyer to these secret society meetings here, is also out on Twitter doxing 19-year-olds for saying anything bad about Jewish people. Yeah, this is the club. This is the deep state. And perhaps lastly, let me see if I've got it open here. This is one of my biggest, most robust canvases I've ever built. Way back to the old school, to the TikTok era.
We need to get rid of Susan Collins. She is the epitome of the establishment politician.
One gunshot heard down on Sherbrooke.
This is my research canvas about the various globalist organizations, think tanks that quietly run the world, that dictate the policies, the directions, the money flows of our world. So the Council on Foreign Relations stretching back possibly furthest, straight back to Mr. Paul Warburg, you know, the architect of the Federal Reserve, currently chaired by David Rubenstein, although this might be a year or two out of date at this point. Whole section on
Neighbor is fighting.
Yeah, so over the years, growing up, anyone ever have problems with gay people? No one ever had any issues with people being gay. People always respected people's whatever, religious, political. You didn't even really go there, right? I don't care who you're voting for, really. May the best team win. I was like, we're all on the same team, right? Or we trying to get rid of the French? We're gonna have a problem, aren't we? Aren't you funny? Ratatouille, rat-a-tat-tat-touille. Yeah, no, when you see how this is connected, really, it has nothing to do with race, religion, gay. You're dealing with fucking sick criminals and drug traffickers, okay? And they grab a hold of whatever issue people might feel oppressed or teased about, or... When you look back over the years, and I remember growing up, right, some people got upset because some people made comments that all the queers, oh, you go in there where all the queers go? There were a few places where it was more known where gay people would go. Right, you had Slate's in Hollowell. I think it's still there. It's a nice restaurant. Bit pricey. I don't know. I have no idea the quality of the food. I haven't been there in a long time. Yeah, in Hollowell, right up the road. Did you see that video on the news with that dude that went fucking flying through? Right downtown, right Main Street in Hollowell? Freaking, I guess something, I don't know, something to do with the brakes wouldn't work and the hood flew up. It was like that bright red something. It might have been a 76, I don't know. New paint job. Like candy apple red, yeah. But yeah, it was Slate's and then PJ's downtown, but they had shut down, yeah. And PJ's was a gay bar downtown by the old movie theater there. Yeah, it's a popular place. Well, it was popular. It was getting popular for druggies to hang out. My son helped pick up needles there with the teen center down by the river. Oh, that's nice. I mean, they had you wear gloves at least, right? He's like, oh, we had the stick things so we could just clamp it. Like, oh, that's good. Refreshing. Good to know. I'm not even his guardian, so... Oh, it's a fucking riot. You know, they say it's a good place to be when you can accept things you cannot change. Doesn't make it right. But we accept what is, and we're surrounded by people that seem to can't do that. Yeah, remember they reopened the gay bar. Had been closed for years. They reopened it back around COVID. Yeah, no, I mean, it was like just you putting salt on the wounds now, huh? Nothing against gay people, but can you understand when they're shutting down the schools, mandating masks, vaccinating our kids behind our back, and we got punks fucking our kids? Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it's like, yeah, let's get the gay bars open and amp up the drug use while the schools are shut down. Good idea. No, and when you see the connections here with these people, bikers, nothing against bikers. I mean, I could be a biker myself. And keep it in the bag. I didn't say in the back of what or where. And I don't even drive it. It's with a friend. In fact, I didn't even buy it. I might have helped with the entertainment for the proceeds. Possibly. I mean, I wouldn't say it's helping. I would just more so say, I mean, it takes the keen eye to know what's good and not throw out this or to even try. Might as well just try, see what happens. It's pretty good material. It's pretty good. It's on the fly. It's all on the fly. Hasn't it always been? You know, sometimes there are powers of persuasion. Yeah, it's cool. But yeah, no, there's never been any issues with any of that. I think, yeah, some people make it an issue and you see how they do that. Right, I remember Bill Burr right around that time. It was right around the same time when they, line it up, when they opened up PJ's downtown. Go back and watch Bill Burr's comedy show about gay guys making out right in his lap. He's like, I don't have a problem with gay people, but if you're going to put two bearded guys right next to me on a park bench and they're like making out right in front of me, you know, yeah, I just might go, ah! Even if it was a man or a woman, you know, even that would make me go, geez, what are you doing? There's kids here. Oh, like they don't see a lot worse on TV. I know, it's just like the fucking psychos that try to go get the murderers up the road. Why are you giving me a speeding ticket? Yeah, it's the same fucking stupid kind of people. Yeah, he was talking about the gay people and blueberry muffins and pit bulls. Buying a shotgun, shoot them in the face. You gotta have a good spread. You gotta have a good spread. Dating a black girl now. Yeah. I mean, it's like, dude, what a fucking wet towel hung out to dry in the rain. Damn. Look who's talking, right? And we're dead and they're fucking our kids, so it's not like, yeah. If there's a game going on, we lost a long time ago. We're just trying to help educate the public, you know.